Welcome to the very first 3Squares Live. We are thrilled that you joined us, whether you're on Spotify or your favorite podcast platform, or YouTube for that matter, watching us on television. I guess it's not actually television, is it?
No.
Well, it's on your computer or phone. Or
You just showed your generation.
I did just show my age. That happens frequently
Yeah.
at this stage of life. But we're thrilled you're here. So this is the first time in 5 years that Kevin Ryan and Susan Schwally have actually met. We've been doing the pod since the pandemic, when we kind of all got together. And Kevin and I have been together, and Susan and I have been together, but this is the first time all three of us have been together. So it's kind of a monumental moment, at least for us.
They're here for this. Yeah.
Yeah, they're here for this.
You're here for the bar and the appetizers.
Yeah.
We understand that. So we are also thrilled tonight to have with us a friend, Bryan Malenius. He is Director of Reputation Strategy for Chick-fil-A. He's also the incoming board chair at the Center for Food Integrity. Bryan's a terrific person. In addition to that fact, he leads strategy for Chick-fil-A's major reputation-driving campaigns, including global impact and emerging market initiatives. His team plans strategic content for the company's reputation storytelling channels, including Chick-fil-A in the Community on Facebook and Instagram, at Chick-fil-A News on X, and Andrew T. Cappy on LinkedIn. He has served as a media spokesperson for the company on issues impacting Chick-fil-A's business and reputation, and does it all with tremendous grace and style. Bryan joined Chick-fil-A in 2021 after guiding Advent Health, one of the country's largest faith-based healthcare organizations, through the COVID pandemic as their executive director of communications. Prior to Advent Health, Bryan spent nearly a decade as a spokesperson for the Walt Disney Company, which included a 2-year assignment living and working in Shanghai, China, with his family for the grand opening of Shanghai Disney Resort. Bryan, thank you for welcoming us.
Sorry, if I knew you were going to read that whole thing, Charlie, I wouldn't have gone so long.
All right, would have made it a little bit shorter.
Thank you very much.
So co-host here, Kevin Ryan and Susan Schwally, please join the conversation.
Oh, yeah, I'm a little thrown off because usually we do
I
the
know, we
intros
usually
first.
do.
Charlie's like really shaking up. So I'm Susan Schwally. I lead the commercial business for a next generation insights platform. The company is QualSights, and we're helping leading brands decode consumer behavior.
And I'm Kevin Ryan, CEO of Malachite Strategy and Research, where we help consumer packaged good companies, retail companies, ingredient companies at the front end of innovation, finding opportunities for growth.
Great. Okay, we're going to go ahead and kick it off. So I'm going to start, Bryan, at Chick-fil-A, consistently ranks among the most respected brands in America. What do you think are the key drivers behind that sustained trust, particularly in the QSR segment, which probably people wouldn't say is one of the most respected sectors?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Charlie, and I think you can look at it a few different ways. First off, Chick-fil-A serves a great product, of course, a great chicken sandwich. But one of the keys to Chick-fil-A's success, and that a lot of people I don't think fully appreciate, is a lot of folks think of these big brands and big fast food companies as large corporations. And Chick-fil-A is really a collection of small businesses when you think about it, because of our local owner-operator model. And that's unique because when you go to a Chick-fil-A, it's different. If you wanted to franchise from some other brand and you wanted to buy 30 or 40 of those franchises, you could do that and never set foot in any one of the restaurants if you didn't want to. Chick-fil-A is different. So each local owner-operator has one, maybe 2 locations, but each Chick-fil-A is different because it's run by an entrepreneur, a local owner-operator, whose job it is not only to serve the community and a fantastic product, but to build up talent in their restaurant, to find ways to plug in to the neighborhoods that they serve and meet the needs in different charitable ways, and really to focus on building our brand and being an ambassador for our brand in that community. And so that's true no matter which Chick-fil-A you walk into, and it's a big differentiator. I think it's a big key to our success.
So I heard a statistic. You tell me if it's right or wrong. It's easier to get into Harvard than it is to get a Chick-fil-A franchise.
Yeah, here's the good news about, like, if you wanted to become a Chick-fil-A
I'm not
operator,
going into Harvard, just so you know.
Okay, well, I was this close to getting into Harvard. That's how thick my rejection letter was. So the good news is if you want to become a Chick-fil-A local owner-operator, the franchise fee is $10,000. Like,
Wow.
That's not too bad. You can swing that. But here's the bad news. We get about 145,000 applications a year and only accept a couple hundred. Yeah. So it is easier to get into Harvard than it is to become a Chick-fil-A owner-operator.
What sets someone apart to get one?
That's a great question. We look for people who have a real passion for growing and developing talent. and for plugging into their community and for the restaurant business. You know, there's a fact. I had a chance to shadow a local owner operator interview at our support center in Atlanta. And, you know, in addition to all the things that come with being a local owner operator and the expectations that they have in the community and to develop talent, it's a hard job because you're in a restaurant every day. And like, so
Right.
we do these in-restaurant days. Those of us who work at the support center, and my colleagues Alex and Terry are here, and I'm sure that they've done them too. And that is that's not built for guys like me. Like, I'm tired after just a couple of hours on my feet. I'm like, let me just stay out of the way. I would tell you that you really have to have that, you know, passion
Desire,
for the
yeah.
day in and day out. Brent Fielder, who's our Vice President Global Impact, told the story. He was on the Chick-fil-A board of directors, and he said, I've had the experience of cleaning toilets in the morning and being at a board meeting that afternoon.
Wow.
There you
That
go.
builds empathy.
It does,
Yep.
it does, yeah.
Great.
All right, Miss Susan, you're up.
Oh, I'm up. Oh, so we're going to talk about the role of listening
Okay.
and how that fits into shaping your communication strategy. And you've
Okay.
talked about some of those components, but can you talk about it a little bit more?
Yeah, you know, we have our reputation storytelling channels, and my team plays a role in developing content for those channels and working closely with I'm in reputation strategy, I work closely with the reputation communications team. And it's really interesting because Chick-fil-A has some really passionate fans. And, you know, in addition to our marketing channels and our brand channels, we have these reputation channels where people who want to know more about, like, what Chick-fil-A is focused on from a philanthropy perspective, and they provide a lot of feedback. It's like it's really, really easy to get a sense of like what's important to them, and you know, they really want us to be a good neighbor. They want us to. There's an expectation that we're investing in the community. There is an expectation that we're providing great jobs for people and a great place for people to work and to grow their career. If you're a parent and you're sending your kid off to their first job, you feel really good about it when they're
Right.
16 years old working for. My son's a team member. Doesn't like it when I show up at the restaurant and time him, but it's a really, really you know, fantastic place to work. But you know, you listen to what the consumer has to say and what folks have to say, you know, on our channels, and it provides you like a really good rule of thumb for, you know, shaping strategy.
What they're thinking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good. Well, my question, of course, is going to be about innovation, which is about how, you know, with all the competition that you have, how do you stay ahead of global flavors, new concepts, all that kind of stuff? Like, what strategy do you use? Or, I mean, within reason, you can say, how do you think about that? I mean, I'm sure that's a huge challenge. I mean, everyone knows you for your chicken sandwiches, but as you think to the future, how do you parse that?
That's a great question. You know, the good news for Chick-fil-A is I have people a whole lot smarter than me thinking through that. I remember I showed this to our chairman, our retired CEO Dan Cathy, and I had I'd posted on Facebook. This is 7 years before I went to work for Chick-fil-A. It was when Chick-fil-A came out with the Chick-fil-A app. And I posted it. You know, I had no association with the brand. I said, the Chick-fil-A app is the single greatest invention in the history of human civilization. Carry on with your day. And, you know, I think that that's part of Chick-fil-A doing a great job of listening to the consumer.
Yeah.
And, you know, as we go into places where, for many years, we were more regional, you know, Chick-fil-A chicken chain.
Right.
As we go into places like Canada and Puerto Rico, and we're opening in the UK in October of 2025 here, and then Singapore by the end of 2025. I think you have to be really attuned to, you know, what the customers are telling you, and really have to be smart about it.
So they're going to be change based on what's there, or at least there'll be some cultural connection.
So I'll give you a few examples. You know, when you go into a market and you open up a Chick-fil-A, people are excited for the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. Of course they are.
Yeah.
But using Canada, for example, so like our like spicy strips are a staple of the menu there. People in Canada love it. And it's a case of listening to the consumer.
Right.
If you go to Puerto Rico, our coffee product is different there. It's just different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, listening to the consumer. When we open up in Singapore, there's an article in the Straits Times in Singapore just this month of October that talks about how some of the beverages are going to be just a little bit different. And so, you know,
Yeah.
we're still going to sell a chicken sandwich.
Yeah, of course.
Don't
Yeah.
worry about that.
Yeah.
But you do have to hear what the local tastes are, and
Right.
you
Yeah.
adapt accordingly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll just follow up on that before we go into another question. So, thinking about that, I mean, you have an incredibly popular core menu, right? But as you go to these other geographies, how much evolution on that menu is Chick-fil-A doing, and how much of it needs to stay right in the wheelhouse?
There's a sweet spot, and if you look at restaurants, like you mentioned that I lived in China for 2 years,
Right.
and so when I lived in China, you would have American brands that would do. We lived in Shanghai, and so when an international brand was looking to kind of plant the flag in China, they do it in Shanghai. So like a lot of like first-time entries into the Chinese market were in Shanghai, and you would have restaurants where their menu was indistinguishable from U.S. to China, like the Cheesecake Factory, for example, at Shanghai Disney.
75 pages in Shanghai and in the United States.
75, no, seriously, okay, so 75 pages, it's thick as a phone book.
Yeah.
So 75 pages in the United States, probably 60 pages in Shanghai, because if they couldn't get the ingredients exact,
Oh, sure.
they didn't serve the product.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the menu got tightened up. But my point is, like, they would do it that way. You had other brands. I remember Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut's a little bit different. So if you go to a Pizza Hut in Shanghai, it's like white table. Like
Yeah, it's fancy.
you take her,
Yeah.
take her to
fancy.
Pizza Hut, you're giving her the ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very nice, it's a very nice place. Yeah.
I was looking at the menu.
That's Domino's here.
Yeah, right. You know, I was
So
I remember-
Charlie is where you got engaged?
Yeah.
Absolutely, at Domino's.
Yeah.
Very romantic.
Little
very
shout out to
romantic.
Charlie and his wife. But I remember looking at the menu when I first got to China, and I looked out. I actually walked out. It was in a mall, and I looked up to make sure I was actually in a Pizza Hut because I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But so every region has different preferences and also like habits. So like in China, you would think, okay, so going to dinner, it's mom and dad and child. Well, no. It's mom and dad, child, grandma, grandpa, grandma, grandpa.
Yeah.
So you got to have something on the menu
Yeah.
for
For
everybody.
For every generation.
So that's why you'll see, places go a little bit, kind of a little bit more left field than you might be thinking that they would. But that's necessary. You have to kind of look at that everywhere you go.
Yeah, interesting. So we might have time for somebody in the audience to ask a question if you have one. So just think about that. I'm going to ask this next question, and then if somebody else has one, he's not going to give you the recipe for anything, so don't ask about that. All right, that's not going to happen. So, Bryan, when we met earlier this year in California, you were kind enough to speak to the audience at that time, and people were taking notes furiously because of the success of Chick-fil-A. One of the comments you made really stuck with me, and you said sometimes it's important not to overthink it.
Yeah.
So, talk to me a little bit because that really caught a lot of people off guard in terms of thinking, well, this is a incredibly successful, very complex, becoming global business. There have to be a lot of complex components here. But when you came back and said sometimes it's important not to overthink it, I was very, very intrigued by that.
Yeah, and the reason I said that, there's a lot of complexities that go on behind the scenes. Like,
Sure.
For example, as a business grows, we have like a robust supply chain team that just has to be, on their A game because, we're building more and more restaurants. And so there's that part of it that is complex. But sometimes, you think about it, when you open up a Chick-fil-A, people are looking for the original chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
And so there is that need to customize a little
Right,
bit
right.
and to tweak based on the needs of the consumer. But by the same token, a Chick-fil-A, original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and some waffle fries, that sounds good right about now.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't mess with it.
Yeah.
absolutely. Very good. Very
Give
good.
the people what they want.
Right.
Any questions? Before we have more questions here. Anybody? Oh, we've got a question
There's
over here.
Brett.
David Fikes from
Okay, the
FMI.
Sunday closures.
Yes.
Y'all have navigated that stateside, I think, successfully. What about international, though? How does Sunday closures translate internationally?
So great question. And the thing about Sunday closures, I would say that's actually one of the keys to our success. And now I firmly believe that the desire for Chick-fil-A is greatest on a Sunday, when you can't have it, because my kids will be like, can we go to Chick-fil-A? I'm like, I'll buy you whatever you want at Chick-fil-A today. I would tell you that that tradition started years ago when our founder, Truett Cathy, wanted one day, he was working 7 days a week, and he wanted to close up, and he wanted to go to church, and he wanted a day of rest, and he's called it the best business decision that he ever made in his life. And for us as a company, the competition for really, really good talent is fierce. And so before I worked in the restaurant industry, I worked in healthcare, which runs 7 days a week. Hospitals work 7 days a week. I worked at Walt Disney World Resort, which runs 365 days a year. And it's a real differentiator. It's a great question that David asks, because when you're hiring talent, if you know you're going to get every single Sunday off, that's really something when you've got like a wife and kids and you want to spend time with your family, or you want to worship if you so choose. It's a big, big differentiator when you're trying to attract talent. And so in terms of culture, I think that you go overseas and a lot of places are open 7 days a week, but we are going to be closed on Sundays in the UK and in Singapore.
Interesting.
That is interesting. It's always Sunday, no matter okay.
It's a great tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Storytelling.
Yeah.
Authentic storytelling for your brand. You've alluded to some components of it, but I'm hoping you can talk about that a little bit more. And if you have, because I know you haven't been there from the beginning, but is this in the DNA from the beginning? Who set the tone? Or when did Chick-fil-A's authentic storytelling really come into fruition?
I think that with any successful enterprise, it really evolved over time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the key to success in storytelling is remaining true to your brand. And it needs to, consumers are smart, and people who follow your brand are smart. They're very different than they used to be years ago. So when I was a kid, if you had if you want to correspond with a brand, you wrote a letter, and maybe you got a response in 6 to 8 weeks. My kids, I remember it was with a candy company. My son provided a piece of feedback, and he heard back in 8 minutes on social media. It's just a completely different, it's just way different than how it was when we were kids. And so people can spot inauthenticity a mile away. Yeah. And so I think that you have to be, your authentic self. And so when we talk about things like being closed on Sundays, or we talk about our shared table program, which is our program that operators have where they repurpose food that they have that's left over to nonprofits. Or we talk about talent development and the things that we do for things like Remarkable Future Scholarships for our team members. It's very authentic to us. It's authentic to our brand, and scholarships is something that we've been doing since 1973. So that storytelling, honestly, it's not that hard for me. It feels very easy because it's very authentic and it's very true to who we are.
Got it.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. Speaking of, talking authentically, I'm thinking of communication and communication strategy as you think about your mission, because it feels to that point, knowing who you are, all that kind of stuff. How do you navigate that, having a cohesive communication strategy as it ties to your mission, vision, all of that?
Yeah, I think that you really want to accentuate the things that are really, really important to you, that are core to your culture and at the heart of everything you do. And so at its core, Chick-fil-A feeds hungry people. So whether it is somebody coming in for lunch or dinner, or through our shared table food donation program, that feels real to us. And so that story, it's cohesive, and it's I don't say it's easy, but it feels right because it's what we do, and it's not like we have to sit in a room and sort of brainstorm. Well, who are we? Well, we know who we are. We know what our mission is. We're really there to tell a story that's really been building for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I mean, it's cohesive.
It is.
It speaks to, like you said, we have that, we feed people, and it all of those tie back. So I like that. Yeah, that's good.
We have time for one more question, if there is one from anybody. Yes.
Hey, Kevin Sheehan with the National Pork Board. Sure do appreciate you putting all that bacon on those chicken sandwiches.
If you've not had the pretzel bread chicken sandwich with the bacon on it, you are missing out. So just it's a new family favorite.
From Pig Farmers, we appreciate that. Have you guys, what's a product that you've come out with that really surprised you that it did so well? And then conversely, what's a product that you just knew was going to be a home run that just really didn't quite do so well?
That's it. So, excellent questions. I would say one of the things that has really been interesting to us over the years, and I think that this reflects consumer tastes. It's really not really in my wheelhouse, but I'll tell you, like the beverage platforms. And so I don't know if people had a chance to try some of the beverages over the summer, or the cherry berry platform that we have out there now. Those are doing fantastic with consumers. I mean, they're really good. And my kids, so I have 2 kids at college, and I made the mistake of attaching my credit card to their app, which is foolish. So like I'll be sitting there in like my office, and all of a sudden I'll get an alert. I'm like, oh, I just bought Chick-fil-A in Gainesville, Florida. Or, oh, I just bought Chick-fil-A in Tallahassee. So my kid's buying the beverages. Like, those have done extraordinarily well. And, you know, I think that you have certain products. It's maybe not something that you rolled out nationally, but you do a limited time offering and you test it. And sometimes you come back and you're like, okay, that was good, but let's try this. And so I think that always having that willingness to try something new and to innovate, like I love our limited time offerings, and our consumers love our limited time offerings, and you know my kids love the beverage offerings. So I think that's really, really important, is that you're constantly looking at ways to innovate your menu.
So Brian, we really have to discuss something, because
Hit me.
probably, I'm going to assume it's not one of the most popular items on your menu, but you have a kale salad.
No.
Okay,
That's
all right.
strong. That's
Charlie despises kale. Like he
You
has
should
no.
never
point.
have to massage your food.
To the point that-
nobody wants to massage their food.
Both Charlie and I are Delta Club members, and they always have a kale salad
Yes.
at breakfast.
They do,
Yes.
and I've never had it.
I
Yes.
take a
Nor should
picture
you.
and
Yeah.
text it every time I'm in there, which is like every week, and I send it
Yes.
to taunt him. Look, they still
Yes.
have it. They still have it.
And it
Charlie.
always looks kind of wilty.
Well, it looks
It's been
especially wilty.
massaged.
I've been getting it bad
I
energy
know.
every time I go through the club.
But
I
it looks
try to
like
get
dry
bad energy with
and.
the kale salad.
So I have to tell you, I am propping up your kale salad business.
I appreciate that.
Because I have a very limited range of things I can eat, which I won't bore everyone with. But I can get grilled nuggets,
Yes, you can.
and I can get a kale salad and waffle fries when I, want to whatever. And
Well,
it,
two
and
out-
it
2 out of
works
3 is
great.
not bad.
So don't get rid of it ever,
Okay, I
I need it.
I will take that feedback back. And
because I can't eat a bun, I can't eat it fried, but I can eat the kale salad and the grilled nuggets.
it's like, so my soft spot is, has anybody ever had the honey pimento chicken sandwich?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was eating like one of those a day.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
it's
good.
so good. It's my favorite thing, and I'm like, can we do that like every day? And it was a limited time offering, so you're like, limited time. Your point is well taken, because I think that to be successful, you have to have that menu of choice where people, there's simplification, right? You need to make your menu simple enough
Right.
where operators can efficiently, serve cars in a timely manner in
Right.
the drive-through, and customers in the dining room in a timely manner. But by the same token, it's great to have something that sort of meets every taste. And like
Yeah.
here, for example.
Yeah,
I confess I'm not a kale salad.
No.
I don't eat a whole lot of them.
Charlie should try it.
That is not going to happen. All right, we're going to transition into the audience participation portion of the podcast. We're going to do the quiz. Quizmaster Kevin, we've not seen the questions. We never see the questions.
Nope.
But there will be a multiple choice.
Even though Charlie begs.
Yes, I
sometimes.
do.
He does. He
There's
tried.
multiple choice. So you'll have the opportunity, when he's done offering, you can holler out A, B, C, or D. I don't think we've ever had an E. Have we?
No, he's.
No,
no,
he-
That would be too much.
It's only
That'd be
A
too
through
much.
D, because I have a hard time even remembering all of those potential answers. So, Kevin, the floor is yours.
All right, so this month it is comfort food. We're heading into comfort food season. So these are questions all food or beverage related. All right, so first question. For the first year that they had the product, Campbell's soup cans in the United States were orange and blue. A lot of people don't know that. They were originally orange and blue in color. That was 1897. They were orange and blue for 1 year. And then they became what we all know now, which is red and white, right? Did they choose red and white? Why is it red and white? Is it A, because red and white were the colors of the Paris Exposition, where Campbell's won their famous medal, which you see on the seal? They got that little seal in the middle. That was why. And the company wanted to commemorate that honor. That's A. B, because the pigments were cheaper and more stable in early printing, ensuring the cans could be reproduced consistently at stores and they could scale up production. Is it C, because the company's treasurer admired Cornell University red and white football uniforms after attending a game and thought the combination looked clean and striking?
That's a good answer.
Or was it D, because red and white mirrored the colors of Camden, New Jersey's city flag, paying homage to the company's hometown roots?
Ooh.
Those are all believable.
That's
This
what
is
I
what he
was going for.
does. This is what he makes these
That's what
up.
I aim for.
Really well done. Really
What
well
was the
done.
first one
Okay.
again?
Okay,
Let's
first one was Paris Exposition.
Paris Exposition.
Second, pigments,
Pigments.
fading. 3 was Cornell University football team. Or D, was it the Camden, New Jersey? That's where their plant's at.
Over that. I'm going Paris Exposition.
Paris Exposition,
I'm going pigment.
pigment.
I'm going C.
C.
Cornell.
I heard a lot of C. It is C. It's Cornell.
Oh, wow. All
It's
right.
Cornell University. Very. And if you look at the uniform, it looks like a Campbell soup can. I mean, it really does. Now that you'll never see
Good
it
a
again
reason
the
as
other
any,
way.
right?
All right,
We
question
didn't-
number
we
2.
didn't know. We
Okay,
didn't
question
know.
number 2. The crock pot,
Oh, yeah.
originally called the Naxon Beanery. That's really good name.
Really?
They never went anywhere
Come on.
with
Great
that.
branding.
Great
Naxon
branding.
Beanery.
Naxon Beanery was invented in the 1940s. Is inspired by what cultural cooking practice? Was it A, Eastern European Jewish Sabbath stews that were left to cook slowly overnight so that they'd be ready on Saturday because that wouldn't violate Sabbath? Was it 2, New England bean hole suppers, where pots of beans were buried in hot coals to cook slowly for community dinners throughout the day? Was it 3, Southern church stews, where families left pots of vegetables and meat to simmer at low heat while attending Sunday service? Or was it D, Italian immigrant tomato gravies, which were kept on the stove all day on Saturday to develop the deep flavor for Sunday dinner?
Ooh. All right, A again is what?
A, Jewish Sabbath laws.
Jewish Sabbath.
2, New England bean hole suppers.
B.
3,
No,
sorry,
B is a beanhole supper.
B is bean hole. C, Southern church day stews. And D is Italian immigrant tomato gravy.
All right, A. How many for A? Got a few for A.
Okay.
All right, B.
I'm going Nathan.
Big ones for
Yeah.
B.
England,
The B's,
okay.
okay. C.
C, so a Southern church.
A few of those. And anybody for D?
Italian tomato.
Gotta be for here.
Yeah, right, for here, right? What did you guys have?
I'm going to go back with A. I'm going with the Sabbath.
You're going Sabbath?
I was going to go B, but everybody went B, and I
You don't have to be a
I think I'm
contrarian.
going to go D. I'm going to go contrarian.
I'm going B because people looked really confident when they were saying B.
I know
did.
Maybe
were.
they don't really know, but
They
they look
did.
really
Yeah.
confident.
Yeah.
It's A.
Oh!
Sabbath. It was invented so that they didn't have to violate Sabbath laws. Yeah, that's where it really originally was from. All right. 3. Charlie, you may have a little, I think you may have an up on this one. I don't
Okay.
know.
All right.
But 3. Throughout parts of the Midwest, some people have a comforting but unusual food pairing. Hearty chili served with the side of a cinnamon roll.
As God
Where-
intended.
Where did that combination
No kale.
come from?
No kale.
No kale. Yeah, where did that combination come from? Where did chili with the side of cinnamon roll come from? Was it A, mid-20th century Nebraska and Kansas school cafeterias where cooks in the 1940s and 50s began pairing them together because of new USDA meal pattern requirements? Okay. Was it B, Depression-era church basements across Iowa where community chili feeds were common fundraisers, and volunteers often added a sweet baked good to round out the sparse meals during lean times? Was it C, early 20th century railroad dining cars where cooks sought to balance savory and sweet flavors for long-distance travelers? Or was it D, Scandinavian farming communities in Minnesota and the Dakotas where sweet rolls and spiced stews were commonly contained cinnamon and cardamom and flavors like that for traditional cold weather? So A was Nebraska, Kansas cafeteria and USDA.
Okay.
Was it B, Depression-era church basement suppers? Was it C, early 20th century railroad dining cars? Or D, Scandinavian farming communities?
All right, how many for A? Anybody for A? We got a fair number of A's.
A,
All right,
okay.
A. And B's.
Got a
Smattering
few?
of B's.
All right,
Smattering of
there's a-
B's. C.
No one's
Oh,
buying
wow,
C.
just
One
one
person
was
buys C.
and D.
Dining car, they're not.
I'm going D.
D.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
D.
All right.
D, okay, what
I'm
about
going
you?
D. I'm going D.
D.
I went B with like 2 other people.
All right.
Find me afterwards. I want to
It's
meet
gonna be
you.
A, isn't it?
It's A.
Ah!
Do it.
It was USDA.
Really? Wait, I was trying to figure out the food groups that they were meeting with this.
Mid-20th century Nebraska and Kansas school cafeterias where cooks in the 40s and 50s began pairing them together to meet new USDA meal pattern requirements for a protein, grain, and dessert. Both items were inexpensive ways to batch cook and could be held warm throughout multiple.
There's no vegetable in there.
Well, the chili had tomatoes.
Okay.
All right.
And you can still get chili and cinnamon roll at Runza
Yes,
Restaurant
you
in
can.
Nebraska. So
Yeah.
there we go.
There's one not by me. Okay. 4. The comforting hot toddy,
Ooh.
Oh,
a mix of spirits, right? Hot water, honey, or lemon, is a cold weather classic. Where does the word toddy come from? Where does that come from? Is it A, from the Dutch colonial term toddy, used by traders in the East Indies for a punch made from arak, which is a type of rum, sugar, and spices, and the word and the habit of mixing those spirits together, turned into toddy? Was it B, was it from the Gaelic word todar, meaning a warming drought or restorative? In the 18th century Scottish and Ireland, the term referred to any spirit mixed with hot water. Was it C, from the early Scottish tavern keeper named Robert Todd, known in Edinburgh for serving whiskey diluted with boiling water in a lemon peel to make harsh spirits more palatable? And his surname, Todd, was used to make toddy. Or was it D, from the Hindi word tari, meaning a drink made from fermented palm sap? British colonials in India adopted the term in the 1600s for the local palm wine, and then later applied it to warm mixed drinks. So, A. Colonial term, Dutch term, East Indies for a punch. B. Gaelic word for restorative. 3. From this Scottish guy named Robert Todd. Or is it D. Hindi word for a fermented palm drink?
All right. How many for A? Anybody? A. We got a couple of A's.
Just a few.
B.
B.
Oh, B's a big. Okay.
Yeah, big.
C.
C. Okay.
Oh, C.
Quite a
D
few.
is in David.
D.
No, D's.
No one's buying your Hindi
I'm gonna
thing.
go C.
I'm going B.
I was hoping for something to tie to the University of Mississippi, but I'm going to go C.
The D. It's a
D.
Hindi
What?
word.
What?
Yes, it's a Hindi word.
Wouldn't have guessed
The
that.
British brought it over. It was a Hindi word. You can still buy something called tari, which is a fermented palm drink. You can buy it at some liquor
Wait,
stores.
but how does fermented palm translate at all?
Well, they
into-
originally used that to make a hot toddy, and then when they came back home, they're like, we don't have that anymore, so we're going to use what we have.
You are smarter listening to this podcast.
You do
Yes.
get smarter listening to this podcast.
All right.
All right. Last question.
One.
Last one. Here we go.
Why, not where, why was the loaded baked potato invented?
Why? It was a little
Yeah,
bit.
why?
Why do you have to ask?
Yeah, I know. Why not? Right.
Right.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Why?
Yes.
Was it A, to make a more affordable and less expensive sandwich for mining camps? Cooks originally hollowed out baking potatoes and filled them with bits of meat and cheese, making a cheap portable substitute for bread-based meals that the workers could easily take with them into the mines? Was it B, as a state fair marketing tool to promote Idaho's potato industry? Agricultural boards began demonstrating fully dressed baked potatoes at fairs in the 1940s, showcasing the spuds along with everything else. Was it C, to feed Northern Pacific Railroad workers cheaply and efficiently in 1908? Oversized Idahoan potatoes that couldn't be sold to grocers were baked for crews along the rail line, and then butter, cheese, or other leftovers were offered as a DIY condiment? Or is it D, as a Depression-era campaign by Idaho potato growers to help farmers stretch leftovers? With meat and dairy expensive, agricultural boards promoted the baked potato as a versatile base meal, and then housewives could add whatever they had onto the top. And that's where it came from.
Yowza.
Wow.
All right,
Okay,
so
summary again
let's go
here.
back
Summary.
again.
We need a summary.
A sandwich for miners that they would
miner
hollow
sandwich,
out and
right.
take.
Miner sandwich.
Was it B, state fair marketing, buy these potatoes? Was it C, Northern Pacific Railroad workers, it was cheap and they would have a buffet of toppings? Or was it D, a Depression-era campaign for housewives to add, bits and bobs, as they would say, on top of the potato?
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Last time around. How many for A? Oh, the
Quite a few.
Quite a few for
Want
Breading
the minors?
sandwiches are gonna
Okay.
go. Okay. B.
B.
B is getting
B.
popular. All right.
Okay.
C.
Stay there. C. Northern
Oh,
Pacific.
not so many. Not so many on that. And D.
Depression era.
Depression era.
Okay. What do you guys have?
I'm gonna go with the minor sandwich.
Okay.
Oh,
A.
wow. I'm going with fair food.
Fair food.
Yeah, fair food.
Okay.
I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking of what I want to load of baked potatoes. But I'll go with
Bacon,
the,
you want bacon, remember our friend?
right,
Our
exactly.
friend? Yeah.
I'm going to go with the miners. I like
Okay.
that one.
That's what you got. You were all pretty much wrong.
See?
It is the Northern Pacific Railroad.
Yeah, I wondered about that because
Oh.
that cross country.
Actually, if you look, and I originally had this, I didn't know if we were going to have like slides. There's actually pictures of Northern Pacific, and they talked about their giant potatoes. They would have it on the rail, and they would feed the workers as well, and they had a little buffet, and that's where it came from, Northern Pacific Railroad.
Interesting. Let's give Quizmaster Kevin a round of applause. You are always welcome to join us. Join us again next month for 3Squares. You can find us on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube, whatever your favorite platform happens to be. You can also reach out to us at 3squaresmail@gmail.com, the numeral 3, squaresmail@gmail.com. On behalf of our co-hosts, thank you so much. If you'd like to have us be 3Squares Live at your next event, let us know that as well. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.